Matthew, I need to have a quick chat with you. My wife's voice echoed through the house as she entered, accompanied by someone else. She knew I was there because my car was parked in the driveway. I'm upstairs. I'll be down in a minute, I called out as I was shutting the suitcase lying on the bed. What are you doing at home already? She asked as she walked into the bedroom. Oh, I had a call from a prospective client. This kind of a rush issue, so I left work to pack. I need to catch my flight in a couple of hours. Sorry for not telling you, but the opportunity just came up. I need to act fast before it's too late. Oh, okay. Anyway, I hope you have a few minutes because I really need to talk to you. Sure, no problem. I have a little time. I wanted to give you a heads up that Logan and I have fallen in love. I don't love you anymore, and I want a divorce. We've already filed the paperwork, so here's your copy. I can't really fight that if it's over between us. Do you mind if I take a look at this? It's better to just get things over with quickly. Depending on how this trip goes, I might not have much time for the next few months to deal with this. Maybe Logan should have a notary come over so we can just wrap everything up before I leave. I'm impressed you're handling this so maturely. I was expecting a big argument. I'm sorry to have surprised you like this, but it's best to just get it over with and move on. From what you said, trying to fight it would be futile. So let's see what we have here. I took a few minutes to review the division of assets. I see one change that I would like to make regarding spousal support. I'm curious about that. You actually have a decent job. Why are you asking for $2,000? We looked into it and did the math. You actually make about 4 times what I make. So the formula that the court uses comes up with that amount. The only issue I see with that is that things in my company are about to change significantly, and I really don't want to have to go back to court to renegotiate this. How about if we just change it to a fair percentage of my income? Let's do a simple 25%. That actually gives you more based on my last paycheck, and it will automatically adjust as my pay changes. Oh wow, that's very generous. I appreciate your thinking on this. Logan will change that, and we'll all initial it. You've given me a great 10 years, so there's no reason not to be fair now. I'm not asking for 60% of the business. You don't know anything about running it. I don't want to lose control. So how about you just get 49%? In reality, I'm the driving force behind it. To make up for that, we can change the division on the investments, from you getting 60% to you getting 80% of all current investments. I can always rebuild what I'm losing. Okay. I guess that'll work as long as I can keep the house. I love this house. I can work with that. In fact, I'll be working so much that I won't have time to go to the beach house. I'm not really a beach person anyway. Let's change the wording on this to say that I'll sign over my share of all the properties that we own now. I'll probably just buy a condo somewhere anyway. It'll be less maintenance on that. Matthew, I can't believe how generous you are. As I mentioned, I'll be too busy to really enjoy the properties. I can make enough money to rebuild my portfolio. Child support. I think you're a little low. There's no provision to increase it as my income rises. I want my kids to be well taken care of. Let's change this to say that 25% of my income in this country goes for child support. That way it covers my income from work and any other income from my investments here. Since you'll be the custodial parent, they should be on your insurance. That sounds reasonable. I'll have David log onto the Wi-Fi and print out the new documents. We can sign and have them notarized. Then David can take them down to get filed. Thanks, Matthew. You've been very mature about this. I appreciate it. The documents were printed, the notary arrived, and we signed the papers. I picked up my suitcase and left for the airport. Your cheating heart will tell on you ringtone. It was 1 month later. My ringtone woke me from dozing on the beach in Cabo. I didn't even need to check the caller ID to see who it was. Hello, Anna. I'm not sure why you're calling. I thought we were done with this. You're going to have to do better than this to get away with it. I answered on speakerphone instead of holding the phone to my ear. What do you mean? I imagine the owners of the house would need you and your boyfriend to move out before they can move in. Sign the house over to me. What do you mean by new owners? I am the owner. But that isn't technically true. What I signed over to you was all the property that we owned at the time of the divorce papers being signed. We hadn't actually owned any property for over 3 months before you gave me those divorce papers. Your name wasn't on the deeds, and I didn't even need your signature to sell them. I need to call David. Don't bother, he won't answer. I heard he was the victim of a mugging. I bet he's in an ambulance on his way to Mercy General. You might want to find a new boyfriend. Oh, it's not like that. My Latina beauty is lying next to me and she says the same thing, but she usually cries it out when we're both naked. The call ended shortly after that. My Latina woke from her nap and decided that we needed to go back into the enclosed cabana where we could wear less clothing. I'd given her this trip in return for keeping me informed on the status of my wife's activities. She called me earlier that day to let me know that the papers had been filed and they were going to ambush me that evening. She left the law firm right after that and went home to pack. We flew to Cabo together in another 2 days. Then we went to Costa Rica, where there's a large expat community and you can live like a king cheaply. What do you think about that? Thanks for joining us in our stories, where revenge is served hot. Please consider subscribing to our channel to ensure your next chef remains loyal. Tune in for the next one to get your revenge appetite fulfilled. If you're below 18, hold on. It's not for the faint-hearted. I'm really grateful for all your help. You mean the beach house too? I told you that I wasn't really much of a beach person. Where are you anyway? I need to meet with you to discuss signing the paperwork so I can take ownership of my share of the company. Yeah, about that. You didn't know about it. 6 months ago, I was just managing it for the new owners on salary until they got up to speed. In fact, I actually stopped working there a week before our last meeting. That also means no salary, no maintenance. But what about the kids? You said that you wanted to take care of the kids. I said that I wanted to take care of my kids. Since I am not the biological father to either of them, I have no interest in taking care of them. Perhaps you should talk to Chris and Jerry about supporting their kids. DNA is a wonderful thing. Well, at least I have the savings and investments. She stopped talking when I couldn't hold in the laughter. I bet she groaned, saying, "That's all gone too." I transferred all of that to the offshore account I set up as soon as I sold the business. We'll see what the court says about that. Good luck with that. I gave you everything exactly as it was outlined in the documents you signed and had notarized. You got 49% of all of it. I owned a few businesses at the time we signed the papers. You got all the property we owned at the time. You also got your chunk of my income. Child support is 20% of my income in the US. This is because you never checked to see if I still owned a business or any property or actually had any income at that time. I never actually said that there was any of that. You were getting exactly what you deserved. I don't understand what you mean by, I deserve nothing. I supported you and was your wife for 10 years. Surely that deserves something. I've also been cheated on. I left you, and you moved your latest conquest in. You're a cheat, and you don't deserve anything. Oh, and I filed a suit against your company too. I found out that they have a little morality clause in their employee handbook that prohibits adulterous relationships between coworkers. The videos I sent showing you two in the conference room should ensure that you were both fired. The ethics committee is investigating him because he somehow got a bunch of evidence that he was in a sexual relationship with a client as he was representing her. I understand that he could get disbarred because of that, which would really suck because that would mean he couldn't simply move to another law firm or even open his own.